Welcome to Friday. Today we're going to work on our music notation classwork after we do some rhythm reading. We're going to review instrument families as well because that is a part of your notation grade. It's going to be on the bottom half of the page. So we have done so many of these this week. What we've been doing is labeling them first, but we're going to go ahead and jump in for our last one since we're getting more familiar with this skill. And so if we were to speak this out without labels, everything for each measure starts on beat 1 since there's no rests, there's only music notes right now. So this would be 1. So I'm going to go ahead and count you in and we're going to go through this and then I'll add the labels in as a way to double check our work. So you're going to want your steady beat, something like there's each beat, and we make it silent by tapping constantly. Go ahead and join, and I'll count you in. 1, 2, ready, and 1, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and all right, let's add these labels. I want to say how'd you do, but I know you can't answer since I'm recording this ahead of time. It's so bizarre. But if you're feeling more comfortable with this, that is awesome. I'd say this note right here, after that half note, probably the hardest part, remembering that we don't say number 2 in this measure because the half note contains both beats 1 and 2. And then we have a very unusual 4 and at the end just to mix it up. Pause here if you need to. Feel free to run through it again. You can take as much time on this skill as you need because we'll be using it more and more and more. In a similar way, pause here if you want to review the instruments of the orchestra or the instrument families. We have our 4 instrument families. String instruments, typically we think of these. Woodwind instruments. Flute and clarinet are my personal go-to instruments mentally. We have our brass instruments, anything shiny and yellow that jumps to your mind. Maybe it's the trumpet or the horn. And then we have percussion, which is what we would be using in a classroom setting a lot. So for today, be ready to spell correctly and think of one member of each instrument family. Now this video is going to test this skill. It's expecting you to know exactly which instrument you're hearing, but what we're aiming for is just to say, I don't know if it's a trumpet or a trombone, but I know that it's a brass instrument. So that's good enough for now. I'm going to go ahead and rotate the screen, let it play, and then at the end I'll show you all the answers. So if you want to keep track, feel free to write down your guesses, aiming for knowing the instrument family. Don't worry if you don't know if it's an English horn or an oboe. Here we go. And we're back. Let's go ahead and see the comment that has our answers. Pause here if you want to double check if you really did write these down. Again, it's not telling you the instrument families like we've been focusing on, it's telling you the specific instruments that you heard. And some of them are instruments that we haven't talked about yet, like there was an organ in there, a keyboard instrument that's air powered, and really pretty cool. So feel free to look up extra things if they catch your interest or spark your imagination. We are ready for music notation classwork number 4, and this is the first notation that is melodic, meaning that we are working with our treble clef. So our instructions say, notate the following measures as performed. I'll be singing them. Your starting pitch is provided. Each melody will be played 3 times. These exercises will be limited to 8th note pairs, like you see here, quarter notes, like you see here, and the half notes, which are the hollow notes that are worth 2 beats. I'm going to go ahead and tell you which kind of music note is found in measure 1. Measure 1 is only quarter notes and half note. So your job is to hear the solfege that you're hearing me sing and put it on the correct lines. Let's go ahead and consider this part of this assignment to be open book. Do your research. If you need to watch lessons again and see the video for a second time to know where the solfege syllables live that I'm singing, that's okay. Go ahead and label your solfege underneath as you hear me sing. And I'm going to start on do. So when I count you in, I sing on the starting pitch. This is number 1 for your first time. If you need to make your own worksheet because you can't print this, go ahead and do this now. If you're using a tablet or a phone and you'd like to work on this with your touchscreen, get yourself into your classroom on the app, click on the PDF that I've uploaded for you, press the pencil, and you can draw your own music notes with your own finger. Feel free to turn it in that way. It's just very small on a phone. So here's do. 1, 2, ready, go. Do, mi, so. That's it. Quarter notes and a half note. Starting on do. I'll sing it again. 1, 2, ready, go. Do, mi, so. Hopefully you wrote the solfege down below. Hopefully you know where they live. Watch out that you don't write re instead of mi. They're very similar and to me tricky. This is number 1 for your last time. Starting right here. 1, 2, ready, go. Do, mi, so. Pause if you need to. We're moving on to notation measure 2. We are starting with an 8th note pair. That means you'll hear do, do. That only gets 1 tap of your hand because it's all wrapped up in beat 1. If you hear do again, it has to have this ledger line. My suggestion is still to write the solfege underneath and figure out the rhythms as you continue to listen. Then your last step is to know where to place them on the lines and spaces. Number 2 contains only 8th note pairs and a quarter note. This is number 2 for the first time. We're starting on do. I'll count you in on do. 1, 2, ready, go. do, do, re, re, mi, do. Write down all the solfege you heard. Then turn it into notes. It's up to you to know which of these is the quarter note. Same measure again. 1, 2, ready, go. Do, do, re, re, mi, do. You'll hear this one more time. Pause whenever you need. Number 2 for your third and final time. Starting on do. 1, 2, ready, go. Do, do, re, re, mi, do. You want your music notes on the 5 lines, and you want your solfege down below. There's only one more step. Answer 3, 4, and 5. If you cannot write in cursive, if you're typing, not a problem. Save your work. Maybe you printed it and took a picture or a photo. You'd want to go to your classwork tab, view the assignment. I'll move it so you can see. And let's get that out of there. Add or create means that you can attach whatever type of file you need to. Selecting a file, I would save it as a JPEG or another type of a PNG file would be a great photo file to save it as, and you'd go into your computer, find it, probably save it to your desktop. If you're working on your phone, I'll show you once again that new method. When you're looking at your assignment in the classroom, if you click on the actual PDF, boop, there we go, and it opens up. Top right, there is a pencil. That allows you to edit it by tapping on your screen. This is how I would prefer to do this if I had a really large tablet. If you're not using the app, do not worry. If you're having to recreate these worksheets because you don't have a printer, thank you for doing that. It really is a big help, and you guys are doing a great job. You just need 5 lines, 3, 4, and 5 with your answers, and that's it. You've made it to the weekend. I hope that you're feeling accomplished now that we're doing melodic notation, and melodic notation is not going to get much more difficult for quite a long time. So consider today like day 1. Nice job. See you next week.